Okay, Ryan. So that was a very passionate rendition, just like you told it to me that first time, without
Yeah.
the aid of alcohol even.
Yeah.
Now, many people watching this, especially in this day and age, they'd be wringing their hands at the idea of you going to try and punt your way out of an
Yeah.
overdraft. But that's what you did. How did you change your approach?
Um, Discipline really. So set out a spreadsheet, made a spreadsheet straight away, so that every single bet I would have, I was it was there to see. So when you chase it, and when I was just betting like casually off the cuff, you don't account. So you think that you win more than you win, and you lose nowhere near what you've actually lost, kind of thing. So I went, you know what, I'm going to do this properly now. So there was always a reminder there for me, and I just basically just went, right, Ryan, just suck it up now and just do it properly, like control your brain. So early on, then it was just a case of right, starting really small, and just if I go through all the cards, like because I'd started to then pick grades that I was quite good at, so I was always more comfortable in betting like high grades, just because I knew the times, I was familiar with the dogs and stuff like that, and I could do it over most tracks. So I started then. I fancied this dog, no matter what the price was, but I think it's got a good chance. £20, £30, and eventually then over about 2 months then, because I was just every single bet I was just putting down on me. I slowly then started to win a bit. Like it weren't like stupid money, but it was like for the first month I won £300. Second month then I won £500 kind of thing. My bets were starting to increase slightly, but like it was still like structured. And I found then like when I had a losing like bet, because it was the reminder there, and I remembered to myself looking in the mirror, I didn't chase. I went, no, done. Like if you fancy want two dogs today, Ron, they both lost, and you've done say 80 quid. Just don't worry about it. Wake up tomorrow, move on, smile, kind of thing. And then in time, then I started to then win a bit more money, like kind of thing. So in about 4 month period of doing that, I probably won about 2 grand. So along with my football wage as well, then I was well out my overdraft then anyway, kind of thing. And I was like, right, this is kind of working then. I had a bit of a blip about 5 months into it. I think I had a night out, a few drinks, stuff like that. I was at home, like come back and whatnot, a few bets. And then I lost about £300 whatever, but I didn't lose stupid amounts. It was like £300, and I was like, right, you know what? No, wake up next day, that's it, kind of thing. And that just had to remind them. And then, and as I started to get this thing, I thought, you know what, I'm doing all right here, but I wasn't winning as much as I thought. For the amount of winners I was having, I wasn't winning a lot because the prices weren't right, the value wasn't there. After about 5 months into it, then that is when I found the word value and started to go, you know what, actually, Ryan, you need to think about this now and only bet dogs that you think you're getting a good price at. Because I worked out if you've got a coin, flip a coin, and somebody's giving you 7-4 on this coin landing on heads, even though it's a 50, you make it a 50-50 chance. I'll just keep backing the 7-4 kind of thing. And I started to do that then, and then I think in the first year then I won about 5 grand, just by again sticking to a right structure. Early on, just betting dogs that I fancied, but then after that, then the last half of the month betting dogs that I fancied but also value. And I won about 5 grand then, and I thought, you know what, I'm onto something here now. And it was just a case of then like finding out what really worked, and yeah, over the next 4 years, then I started to do it properly.
So you went to America again, came back, and in December 2022, you decided to go full-time gambling, in inverted commas. Now, you've just mentioned the value, saying the value is the key. Now, of all the pro punters I've interviewed, that's about the only thing they agree on.
Yeah.
So you had a eureka moment with the value. Would that account for you not reaching your true betting potential in the past?
Yeah. So when I so I did it part time for 5 years, but with a structure. And again, I still had my odd moment where like I would go on a bit of a chase and I'd lose a few quid. But in general, if I had a bad day, it wasn't horrific. Like you could always bounce back from it. And I just a bit of a slap round the ear, like kind of Ryan, sort yourself out. And I averaged about £8,000 over every 5 years. So every year for 5 year period. And I was like, you know what, I'm all right here, like with this structure. And it was just value. And towards the end of it, then it got to a point where it was like, even if I didn't necessarily fancy a dog, if I thought I'm getting 5-1, whether it's early price or whether it's in the shop or whether it's on Betfair, if I'm getting 5-1 on a dog that I really make 3-1, I'm just going to bet it. And even if I didn't fancy it, I'm thinking, well, I'm getting 5-1 on a dog that probably's got like a 3-1 chance. Keep doing 10 of them, you're probably going to win. Like just because the law of averages suggests you're going to win. So it started towards the end of that 5 years that I realised that, and I didn't get that early on in the time, but that was when I realised then actually, and I started looking at races differently. So rather than looking at a race thinking, oh, that's going to win, it was like, okay, well, like what are the percentages of this dog winning, and am I getting over the odds based on the chances it's getting, kind of thing. And that was that. So when I came back then to America, I thought, right, I had nothing set up work wise. I've done it for 5 years part time with this system structure in place, and I thought, let's give it a go. See how we go.
Okay, now you appear to have very strong mental capacity. You've already said that you do. Winning when you need to win. I mean, there's an old adage that scared money never wins, but that doesn't appear to apply to you. I mean, how do you actually focus? You've told us that you had a word with yourself, but how do you actually focus when your back's to the wall when most people just can't pick a winner to save their lives when they have to?
It's still tough that. So there was a spell about probably about 18 months ago when I've been doing it full time for 6 months and I couldn't pick my nose like, and again I do promise I've been really strong minded like, especially recent years like, touch wood it continues. Don't panic. Just literally do not panic. And the phrase that I always tell myself, Ryan, there's always another bet. And I don't mean like the next race, like bet on that. There's always, with the structure that I had in place, there's always another bet kind of thing. So what I would do if I was having a bit of a bad run kind of thing, and if I really made a dog, like if I was getting on, I was getting 2-1 on a dog that I made even money, I'll just have a few quid more on it. Like if I thought like, I need to win a few more quid, a few more. But if it lost, I wouldn't then go straight away on my phone and go, right, the next bet. So it was just staying disciplined really. And like you said, like when you're back up against the wall, just stay calm. Just stay like, I don't think many people make good decisions when they're emotional. The best decisions I find are when you're calm, and staying calm is just the best way that I think long term you can win money, because there are going to be highs, there are going to be many lows. It's just making sure them lows don't become disasters, and that is the key for me. And it's just staying calm.
Now, when you first started, all that was available was you had to read the card and hope that the person that marked the card did it accurately. Do you watch the videos now?
Watch replays are more important than cards kind of thing. So graded racing, you have to combine the two because you don't know the dogs, familiar with the names, stuff like that. But replays are key. So I won't have a bet now unless I've gone through the replays and stuff like that. They are the most valuable tool. They're a nightmare for bookies, obviously, I think, because it started to probably recent years, like replays came available, and then shrewd punters then had an advantage really over bookmakers, I'd say. Which come to then what bookies I think did then to counter that really into some accounts. But no, watch every single replay for the dogs that I fancy, and then the process is look at the car, what do I fancy, look at the replay, confirm that I fancy it, can I get a price on, and then it's just getting the bet on them, which is at the moment the hardest part.
Well, I was going to say, you said it's a nightmare for bookies. Not really, because they just close your account.
Correct.
Yeah. So it didn't take you long to find out that you couldn't get on. So did you explore all the avenues? I mean, multi-accounts, runners in betting shops, black market, stuff like that. I mean, have you...
So I did it first. So again, I was full time for 2.5 years. So about 2 years and a quarter. First 9 months, doing okay. Like I knew what amount of bills I needed to pay, stuff like that, and I was doing okay. Like a couple nights holidays, whatnot, and I had an unbelievable October. Like my October in the first year I did it was unbelievable. And what it did then, it actually then calmed me down, because it meant that I weren't panicking then about making sure I win. I have to pay the mortgage this month, stuff like that. Calmed me down then. So when I did have then a bit of a losing time, I just went, no, don't Ryan, just relax. There's another bet tomorrow, kind of thing. And honestly, I thought like, right, this is the dream life here. I'm winning good money. Did it for like I said 2 years, 2.25 years now. Good money. Tried, but after about a year, I noticed then that my accounts that were open for a while then started to get restricted and closed. So then I did then pull every single trick up my sleeve that I had up my sleeve, a card up my sleeve, like bring it out and speaking to people, family members, going to shops. Going to shops was the key one, because you can still get good bets on in shops really. So even if it meant that I travelled 25 minutes away, I'd always look after the people that worked there. If I had a winner, like chuck them 20 quid just to keep them happy, try and keep them from like reporting me, stuff like that. But then yeah, it slowly started to dry up. Then I noticed a big change in the accounts probably about in January this year, where my accounts were just evaporating straight away. So I'd have an account and like with a mate, I call them minions, by the way. So I have minions. So they're called minions. There was about 5 of them, and they would then make sure that we got the bets on in time, stuff like that. But their accounts were driving up. So we'd have an account, 365 account, and within a day, gone. Nothing changed in our pattern, gone. And then after about March time, then I went, you know what, I'm struggling here because my profits were going down and down. And there was nothing I could do about it. And then I was having to change the way I was betting, because I'd have to do a little bit more on the exchange. But I was fancying dogs that I could probably get on like 2-1 a bit earlier, and they were like even money. And I was like, this is not sustainable. Because that word value, I was like, the bookies got the edge here, not me. So then that then kind of then came to the thought process of backing my betting. So yeah, I did everything. I've never done the black market. It's one thing I haven't done. I try and make sure my bets do go back into the pot, because ground racing needs all the money it can get. So I do try and bet with the appropriate firms and stuff like that. Some firms are good, like I have a good rate of ball sport to class with me. Like I think quite a few firms use my accounts as markers as well when I can. But in general now, most of my bets for that are on Betfair before the off because that's a realistic price.
So going back to Barking Mad betting, so how does it feel laying your punting soul bare for all to see? Is it therapy or is it make it more difficult?
It was when I started. I could take on the world. Probably people watch my videos. My personality then is very arrogant. Not arrogant, but probably arrogant to be fair. Like thinking I knew it all. And then I had a bit of a spell really when the Ground Derby started. I could not pick my nose. And my ego was dented then. I was getting home from filming, knowing that I'd lost money. And it wasn't like a one-off loss. I was losing like videos consistently. Like what people don't realise with it is I don't film every bet I have. So because I have to try and balance the film, not betting, but also making it good content for people. So if I fancy a dog in a D4 at Central Park in the daytime, I'm not going to film it, like because it's just a one-off race. Who's going to watch that kind of thing? So I was trying to get the balance of like finding a meeting or a group of races where I think that could be good viewing and I can win. It was so hard. Like I was losing money trying to get the YouTube views really, and it was so hard. I'd get her back from Toaster in the Derby and have a losing day, and I didn't want to look at the comments because for the first time I was like I can't be bothered to read them because I've lost my money anyway, and I was like annoyed at myself. And then I was getting told then you were so and so and so and so. I was like, don't really need it. But then I changed the way I bet on the channel really a little bit. I'm a little bit more structured now with it. I think people have started to know what I'm like anyway. So I've built that fan base up fortunately, and I don't have to worry about too much about pleasing them now as such. It's more focused on like give a personality still, but try and bet to win still as opposed to bet to good content.
Now you said at the beginning of this interview that you've had feedback already. That must be quite a good feeling when people have said they're only there because they watch your videos.
The most important thing for it, so I have people say they bought the first dog because of it. The Derby, mad people that came to the Derby, like watch the Derby and tune and go to Toaster as well and say, look Ryan, I'm watching Gone to the Dogs because of your show. I'm going to the Trap because it looks like a great night out. Like in Nottingham, I went to Nottingham for their big final last week, and I had about 10 people come up to me like and say, right, I'm here for the show, take photos and stuff like that. Now I'm not, I'm quite a confident lad, but anyone who knows me knows that I think I'm very down to earth and I'm very like relatable and approachable. But yeah, they're the best ones really. When a group of lads come from Stockport on a Monday night to Nottingham for the big finals night in Nottingham because they're watching the show like, and they say, Ryan, we ain't been since Bellevue closed, but we're watching your show, we love it. Can we come down? Like they are honestly, that's what gives me more happiness than the winning.
Now, that makes you an influencer, doesn't it?
I am an influencer. I used to cringe at that term and ick at that term, but I suppose I would be an influencer because I am influencing people to come to ground racing. Yes, so I guess I'm an influencer.
So is influencing the way forward? I mean, I'm assuming that if you could get whatever money you wanted on, you'd still be a professional gambler.
Not in an arrogant way. If I could get on what I wanted on, I'd be rich. It's not arrogant. It's just stating a fact. Like it's just it's a fact. Like it's hard to argue with facts. People know I say that. Like you can't. It's just a fact. If I could get on what I wanted, I would be very very well off. But you can't. So you can't moan it because you can't change it. So even if I could get on what I have done the last 2 years, like I'd still have a very cushy life. It's just not there anymore, and I'm having to adapt my bets because. Like I said, like you have to now wait on Betfair to see if the price is right, like kind of thing. Now you still get a good bet at open racing, but again, it's tough. Like your bread and butter, the graded stuff, it's tough. So, yeah, the reason why the YouTube thing came up as well because I thought, well, this is drying up here now, and I need another form of income. But I love ground racing still, so that is why I've kind of delved into the sold to the influencer world there. But I'm trying to stay as authentic as possible, genuine as possible. But yeah, probably down the line, I need this page to grow really, just to help me fund my betting still.
So that was going to be the last question, but so that is the future.
Future would be to try and grow back in my betting, try and grow ground racing, make it a very popular sport again. It's an amazing sport. Try and grow it to that, and then if I can do well off the back of that as well, but please everyone know that it is literally for the love of the sport kind of thing. And yeah, probably that is the way now, but I'm still going to combine betting mad and being mad in front of the camera as well.
Brilliant. Ryan Conneely, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.